Good afternoon, I should say, not good morning, good afternoon.
Get to that hour.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
going
yeah,
on?
yeah. Yeah. Well, we got a great guest on today, which is really exciting. Um, Everything going well by you?
Good, man. Can't complain.
Well,
Getting into it.
we're gonna have on a guest that you obviously had the opportunity to work with directly. Um, I saw play in high school, was one of the toughest players I had ever seen. And not just from a football standpoint, he was also probably one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. So,
Yeah.
um, and did both of them at Rutgers. Um, Played defensive line, played fullback at Rutgers, and then was a champion wrestler there as well. Um, I Unique two sport athlete in the sense that his physical abilities, his determination, is very rare among the athletic fellow. Now he's a coach as well, which is it's great to see him bringing that to young men and young boys. So we're talking about Razohn Gross, who played at Don Bosco, played at Rutgers, and really is probably one of the, at least in this part of the century, the 21st century, probably one of the best athletes in New Jersey, coming out of New Jersey, in this first part of the century, coming out of high school there. So without further ado, let's bring him on. What's
Hey,
going
what's going on?
What's up, stud? What's going on,
What's
man? Hey,
going
really appreciate
on, Coach?
you.
How you doing? How we doing?
Good,
How we doing?
good,
Ready? You ready?
good, man. It's
Let's
good.
go.
Listen, man, I really appreciate you coming on. Listen, one of the rare breeds that I've ever coached in terms of just all the intangibles. So and then to see now that you're getting into coaching, we'll jump into that a little bit, man. It's really awesome to see you giving back, and guys like you, we need guys like you in the profession. You know what I mean? So listen, I appreciate you coming on, man, and like I said, we're gonna have a little fun here.
All right, sounds good.
Razan, tell every. I mean, I gave a brief intro, but tell everyone that kind of your full story athletically. I'd even love to hear how you got into wrestling too as well. But
hmm
obviously, you're an outstanding football player, outstanding wrestler. Did both of them in college, both of them in high school at the highest level. Tell a little bit of that story, and then we'll get into the coaches stuff too a little bit.
Okay, so you know, I started wrestling, back when I was like little, like when I was in second grade. Um, and at the same time, my mom and my dad got me into sports real early, and they figured out real early that I was made for contact sports because I tried out all these sports, track and baseball and other stuff, and it just wasn't sticking. I was, baseball. I'll just swing at everything. I'll just strike out, and I'll be so mad competitive. They were like, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. We just got to find the sport that is you. So really early on, my dad got me into football, like as a mighty might, junior pee wee level. And then my mom actually introduced me to wrestling. People think that would be my dad's sport, but it was really my mom. My mom got me into wrestling, and the way that worked out was, I'm from Franklin, Somerset. Go Warriors. Um, yeah.
Shameless
So
plug.
so yeah, favors. Yeah. So I got it in there, and I really found my stitch, in the mat because I I went and I practiced, and the first thing that I did was I tackled one of my partners, like really spear, like Goldberg spear, boom, right into the mat, and I kind of hurt him, and I broke his shoulder. Yeah, so it was. They were like, yeah, you have a passion for this sport. You have a future in this sport. So that's when I really hit the ball running with wrestling. But football football was always my love and always my passion. My dad introduced me. He put the ball in my hand, and I just went from there. And sky's the limit.
Now in high school you played at Don Bosco. You had one of the legendary coaches there. when you played there, in Coach Toll, and what was your thought process in originally going to Don Bosco, coming down from Franklin, and what was that experience like?
It's funny because I really didn't know around my middle school year, I thought I was gonna go to Franklin High and play football with my friends and all that other stuff. I really didn't know about the big powerhouse like Bergen, Bosco, and other stuff because you're in Central Jersey, you're excluded from all that stuff. You don't hear anything about that. But one of my great friends, Leonte Carew, I actually grew up with him. Growing up with him, he played for the Plainfield Vikings with my dad, so my dad coached him. And soon as we heard that, Leonte went to Don Bosco, we were like, and I talked to him. I was like, how is it over there? He's like, it's good, man. It's awesome. I love it here, man. Like, you should come out. And not knowing that I was going to next step to get there, but I actually got sought out by somebody in the crowd at a tournament. I remember I was at a South Plains tournament wrestling, and his name is John Sebastian. He actually found me, and he saw the potential I had. He saw the athleticism, all that stuff, and the football field and the wrestling mat. And he was like, "We gotta get this guy to Bosco." You know what I mean? So, and that's really how it happened. And then I got up there, and me as an eighth grader, I remember like it was yesterday. I walked in, and I had to introduce myself to the coaches, like Coach Toll and Chuck and Anthony and Lizio. It was a full
There we
team up there.
go. Here it is.
It was a full team up there. So I was like, wow, like, you know what I mean? And like, I went upstairs, and I remember my first talk I had with them. I had to grow up to a young man at that point and like tell them why I was here and what I wanted to do. I was so nervous to tell them, like, set your standard and set why you're here and set why you want to come here and be contribute to the team. And I remember my dad always told me, always be a leader and command the room and look everybody in their eyes. And that's what I did. And from that day on, they all respected me, and I was a major contributor there.
That's an amazing story.
Yes.
That's an amazing story, and you guys had some probably of the best teams of
because Razohn, you were fortunate enough to, like, obviously the year before your senior year, I had just gotten there. So you had won that national championship the year before, playing with guys, like Jabril before, he left and stuff like that. So you had some teams and listen, you were a major contributor on those teams as a younger guy where they were, senior heavy and stuff like that. But listen, I think it's funny you bring up Leonte, because I've been trying to get him on this podcast for months now, bro. So now I'm just saying,
now he's probably going to do it now. Now he's going to do it now.
100% he's going to do it now. Like, I know how he works, but anyway.
Once he sees this, he's going to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's very interesting for you to talk about how, listen, like, you didn't even know about the Bosco world or the private school world. You now have a peer that comes to you and says, hey man, like, this is a place that you should be. And now you take a risk going there. And now you walk into a situation where you're looking at Coach Toll, you're looking at Coach Morangi, you're looking at Coach Granatel, guys that are staples at this program, and they're expecting you to act a certain way as an eighth grader. And you're kind of shell-shocked in this whole situation. But the way you were raised right within those sports and things like that allowed you to kind of give them the impression of, this is what I am, this is who I am, even if you were smoke and mirrors at that point. And then you had to develop a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about how they developed you as you came around? Because listen, you played both sides of the ball, which was not something everybody did at Bosco as a senior. So talk about that a little bit.
I feel like my development process came from my father, really early on. My dad, was a heavy on working hard, and really getting me. I remember, all right, so my 8th grade year, I didn't play football at all because I was over the weight limit, and my dad wanted me to save my weight for a freshman year in football.
Yeah.
He didn't want me to cut that 20 pounds. He wanted me. I was so heartbroken. I was so heartbroken because I wanted to play in my 8th grade year. I didn't understand why I was holding out and all that other stuff. But my dad was like, "Listen, we're gonna go to the gym 4 times a week. We're gonna hit it strong, and you're gonna be the most dominant freshman on that campus when you get to Don Bosco." And I trusted him and I believed him. And my dad, I tell you, my dad prepared me for those moments. I remember I didn't even like go to the gym with him. I had to meet him at the gym. I had to run to the gym. I had to. If the gym was like 2 miles, so he was like, "I'll meet you there." Like he was prepared. He was training my mind. He was training my mindset. And like I remember those days like when other trainers or people in the gym would just watch how he would be on me and just like wish like there. I wish my dad was like that. I wish I had my dad in the gym, training me like this. And it was beautiful because now you so has so much gratitude towards that, and and how he trained me and how he sought out all that other stuff for me to be successful in the long run. And then when I got to Don Bosco, I was already seasoned because whatever it came at me, I was ready for it because I already went through it with my dad. My dad put me through some hard stuff, like how Coach Toll would be in your face and spin and all that stuff. My dad
Old
would do the
school
same
coach.
thing. Yeah, old
school.
school. But it was nothing to me because it
Right.
was I was already prepared for it, and I just adapted. I adapted to the culture real quick, and I they after my freshman year, I was a 3-year starter after that.
That's
Hmm.
incredible. And
Yeah.
that work ethic is the difference maker in making somebody between good and great and exceptional. And that's awesome to hear how your dad really like invested, not just in your athletic success from a sports standpoint, but in your overall development, and that work ethic's what you can bring that with you in anything else you do. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
once you have
No
that,
doubt.
you can bring that in anything you do. When now talk about your recruiting process with Rutgers, right? I think it was, and I'm trying to remember back to that time. It was a different process, right?
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
Because you were a 2-sport guy,
Right.
I'm talking as an outsider remembering it, up in Bern County. But can you
Hmm.
talk about that whole process, with Rutgers and the 2 sports and all that stuff?
Hmm.
Rashawn, hey,
So
before you get going real quick, I think we should preface this too. So Rashawn's getting recruited in 2 sports, right? So we had just finished up football season. Now my man's got to go drop 20 pounds to get in shape for wrestling.
yeah,
All this
you
time,
remember that?
this is the time though where like a lot of the recruiting stuff really starts to
Yeah.
ramp up because at that point there was no early signing day. So, you were signing in, April or whenever that date was. But meanwhile, here you are chasing ring number 2 in Atlantic City. So go ahead, man. Tell the story.
Yeah. So the process, it was crazy because I had a lot of things to focus on. We didn't, my senior year, we didn't get the job done, like we should have. But we had a down year. But I was like, okay, I had to refocus my mind. I had to, make this back to back, run at the state championship for wrestling. So I ended up, going back to back, state champion. And then the recruiter, I was getting heavily recruited, in wrestling, from all these D1 schools, Maryland, Michigan, Old Dominion, North Carolina, Rutgers, all those stuff. But in my heart, I still wanted to play football because I feel like I still had more in me. And I think that year, that down year that we had, it
Yep.
really put a little sour in my heart, and I didn't really want to go out like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the recruiting process was kind of hectic. I remember Coach Shiano just took the job at Tampa, and it was Kyle Flood who was the head coach. And I remember he put somebody. I was D line and fullback, so the main guy who recruited me was Jim Panagos. He was a D line coach, and we went out to a couple dinners and stuff like that. He talked to me and stuff like that. And he was like, "Hey, listen, this is what we can offer. We want you to come on as a preferred, walk on, and mine is the scholarship money I was getting for wrestling, and forego that. And that was a huge thing that I had to talk to my parents about, because I wanted to do what was best for me. At the same time, I wanted to, I didn't want my mom and dad to worry about my financial, my with schooling, the scholarship and stuff. So it was a very, very tough decision, and the final decision was my parents was like, well, if you're not happy, we're not going to be happy. You know what I mean? We want you to do what you love. We want you to do, and my parents are such great parents. They understand me, and they put me in a position to where I was today. So for them to say that and tell me, you're not going to be happy. If you're not happy, we're not happy. We want you to do what you love to do. That was so eye opening, and it was like so much stress, like relief off my shoulders, so I can go do what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
So I ended up choosing football and going that route. And when we got there, we hit the ground running.
And to explain to people, just from a recruiting standpoint, a lot of people don't understand. So the way that Division I football works is the way scholarships work. So even though Razohn could have gone on a wrestling scholarship, it would account, if he played football, it would have counted as a football scholarship for the football team. And
Mhm.
so the reason why he had to go on as a walk-on in football, and then obviously, which then, even though you really weren't a walk-on wrestling, had walk-on wrestling, because the way the scholarship count situation works.
Right.
People don't really understand that. They think, oh, well,
No.
you could go if you want to be, and this is any sport outside of football. If you, like, let's say you're a track athlete or a baseball player, and you had a scholarship to Rutgers, for example, a scholarship, but they wanted you as a preferred walk-on in football. In order for you to do both of those sports, you'd have to be able to go as a walk-on in both. Otherwise, it would count, unless the school was willing to, give you the scholarship in football, right? So, and that, a lot of things people don't really understand that, because Razohn was a 2-time state champion. It was heavyweight, right? I'm assuming
At 195.
195. Sorry,
Bro,
195.
don't be calling him a heavyweight.
Yeah,
bro.
I know.
No,
He still thinks he can catch touchdowns.
He
and
would
all
wrestle
that
up, though.
stuff.
Didn't you wrestle up sometimes, like pin guy?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Look,
I'm not saying he wasn't,
I
but
was
listen, don't call my man a heavyweight. He'll get all salty.
I know. He was like only like 200. Yeah, I remember.
I was 195. I was heavyweight, in college. That's what I went heavyweight in college.
Oh, you went heavyweight in college. Okay.
Yeah.
But, so 2-time wrestling champ at 190. Was it both the same weight both years?
Both, yeah, back to back. No, yeah, at 195 one year, 2012, and then 2013 was the 195. So both years were 195.
Well, it was 195. And then you wrestled.
Which he sure as hell didn't play football at 195.
Yeah.
What?
That in itself.
I had to.
Yeah, we had to kick you up a notch because he had to go both ways. So I want to say he might have played his senior year around 215, 220.
220, 225.
Wow.
And then,
I'll say 225.
and then I come in 2 weeks later to see my man, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, is this the same dude? Like, so you want to talk about dedication and like having to really bust like what it is? Like, he would have to go like 220 to 195 in like 2 weeks.
Yo, it was crazy. Crazy.
What did wrestling and you being exceptional, like, what did it teach you as a, like, how did the two work hand in hand for you, like, as a football player? Because a lot of people don't, in the world, and you're coaching now, so you may see, well, you're aware Weehawken, and maybe it's not as much specialization there yet, but obviously, if there are kids that were going to Bosco, a lot more of the kids are specialized in one sport per se,
right?
But I've always loved, and Coach D's the same way as me, like the guys who are 3-sport athlete, 2-sport athletes that do multiple things, because I think that it helps you in both sports. But like, if you're a wrestler and you play football, I mean, especially positions you were playing,
right?
There's like a direct correlation. Explain a little bit of that.
Okay, I mean, wrestling gives you that tool that football really can't give, and is really that grit. I mean, not grit, but it's really I would say they're both athleticism, but I would say that wrestling gives you a tool that you have the mindset to go and impose your will on someone and not care. You know what I mean? Because it's one on one, and you can get that same thing in football, but it's not the same because you have a team behind you. Wrestling,
Right.
you're in the mat.
It's you.
It's just you and the other guy. So it's killed or be killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it either it's going to be me or it's going to be you, and it's
Right.
damn near it's going to be me. You know what I mean? So I that's the type of mindset that you have to go, into a wrestling match, and because these guys, they want to embarrass you in front of everybody. They want to put on a show. You know what I mean? So I think that the biggest thing that wrestling gave me was that edge to really have, like Coach always told me, I had a motor. Like I had a motor because that motor came from wrestling because I'm wrestling 3 minute periods straight.
Right.
No full intensity, no stopping, full on just wrestling. No breaks. And when I translate that on the mat, it was just like how many seconds between a play? Like 10 seconds between each play?
Well, if you think
give or take.
You have 30, yeah, you have 30, 40 seconds between a play, so.
Yeah. But I was already ready. I was already in my stance ready to go. Coach. Coach, you see me play. Like I was ready. I wanted to make the play every play. I wanted to be the guy that you guys depend on to make that play every play. And that's the same thing that I carry for wrestling. I wanted to be the guy on the mat to show everybody my talent and show that I'm the best one in the room. I'm the best one in the gym.
That is awesome. That mindset that the wrestlers have, and the ability to, it's just you out there. Everybody's watching, and there's nobody else to watch, and especially those dual matches that you guys would have, where it's you guys versus Bergen, or you guys versus Del Barton, or those big matches. And sometimes that match is it's on the line, and it's for the team championship, right? And it's just you out there. If you're able to do it, they win. It's
right.
that individual, the ability to rise up individually. What wrestling, I think, teaches there is and you said it, the kill or be killed kind of the mentality. It is so unique, and that's what I think it probably also, and you could speak to it, correct me if I'm wrong, but it gives you a confidence, because if you're out there if I'm out there putting myself on the line, where if I make a mistake, I can be embarrassed in front of everybody. Going out in the football field, you got teammates helping you, and
exactly.
That's not as big a deal as when you're going to go out there just by you.
I mean, I feel like I learned how to thrive in that pressure. It gave me an edge. It gave me a tool. That I didn't even know I had. But being uncomfortable and being comfortable, you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation so you can thrive under that comfortability. So that's what I set it out, and that's what made me great, and that made me who I am today. So, and it made the football field much more easier, because I know you have your teammates, but at the same time, I'm competing with myself. I'm putting myself on a pedestal. I'm like, I want to be able to make the play. I want to be able, if my guys come on, it's cool. But I want to be the guy to be the playmaker. I want to. That's how you stand out, and that's how I stood out wrestling too.
Which is why, like Coach, we talk about it all the time. Like, what are the differences between certain schools or where you go or where it's at? That mentality that Razohn had was across the board, right? So now not only is he holding himself to hit that level, but the guy next to him is holding himself to that level as well. So now you get all these guys that are holding themselves to the highest standards, and then on top of where the coaches hold it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, motivation, I was never coaching motivation. I was never coaching like, hey guys, let's go. We got to get up to go, because these guys were ready to go all this time.
Hungry.
And I think that's what separates these guys that hey, I should have a scholarship, or guys that like, hey, I have a scholarship. Like that's that extra little amount of something that adds to why these guys make it where they do, is they just surround themselves with those. And we talk about it, surround yourself with like-minded people, right? I mean, it's just everybody wants to strive together, and it's hard to find that collectively across the board.
Yeah. And I think that what made our team really special was everybody wanted to make the play. Like even if I made a play, Quan made the next play, or Scannell made the next play, or like we all had a game tackle together. You know what I mean? Like we had so many hats to the ball, and everybody just wanted to make plays. So when you have a team like that just wants to make plays, that's a formula for a successful team.
No doubt about it. I mean, that's what made those Bosco teams special. Some of the greatest players, definitely of the first 20, 25 years of the 21st century in high school are from those teams that you played on. Some probably you could argue maybe the best coaching staffs, because just judging by where all the coaches have gone on to from
oh my goodness
this point forward, everybody's gone everywhere else. So the tree from that standpoint is unbelievable, so fast forward to college, right? You played football for numerous years, and then I think you were doing both, and then you end up doing wrestling, right? The last couple of years, or
I wrestled my last 2 years at Rutgers.
Okay. That's incredible that you actually got to be able to do both.
That was right when they were transitioning to the Big 12.
The new coaches,
so, like,
right?
Or the Big 10. Like the Big 10 wrestling, man. Like, woo.
Yeah. It was a weird, weird thing, a lot of changes were being made. Chris Ash came in,
right.
Because Coach Flood left. So a lot of stuff was moving, and I felt like, I had missed wrestling, and I missed competing on the mat, and what better enough to change the trajectory of my story, and compete at the highest level at two sports that I love dearly, and that's what made me on the mat. And I was 4 years off the mat, and Coach Goodell, he approached me. He was like, we still believe in you. You're a champ. You know what I mean? So, you're a champ. We're gonna get you to that level, to that Big Ten level. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I trusted him, and we started working.
Awesome. That's
crazy,
that's incredible.
Right? Like, how great is it to be like, hey, I need a heavyweight. Let's go check out the football team. Oh, I got a 2-time state champ over here. Yo, you want to come back to wrestling? Sure, at any time. Now, I'm sure your training had to really amp up. I mean, you weren't wrestling training for a long time. To kind of jump back into that, I'm sure was a lot.
Oh, man. Wrestling training and football training, at the highest level is definitely different from, just because football is more like you're putting the pounds on, you're putting the muscles up, you're doing agility drills. Wrestling is more cardio, endurance, and more reps than anything, reps on top of reps, and it was insane because I never went through a preseason like that. And it kind of forced my mind to get back into that mode of like grinding and like gutting it out again.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it because I had to find myself again. And in those times again, that I was at Bosco, I was like, okay, this is what made me who I am. Let me just click back into that mode again, and like let me do a different 2.0 version, high level, Razohn Gross of college, wrestling. So I definitely thrived in that environment, and my coaches pushed me, and I loved it, man. I really, I loved everything about it. I loved everything about it because it forces. I still do the workouts to today. Like I still train like intensely like an athlete today. So like it never goes away. It never goes away. So. I'm just appreciated, for me to do those two sports in college and thrive in those moments.
Now you're coaching at high school football at Weehawken, right? So what made you want to get into coaching, first of all? Like, what was kind of impetus to that, and how's that been going since you've been coaching?
It's been going well. We had we actually had a historic year last year. I came in, me and my boy Albert Young. He went to Iowa. He played in the league for a little bit at for the Vikings. But me and him were like the only two high level coaches that were on the staff. So we understood what it took to get there, to be excellent and be dominant and all that other stuff. So because we've been there. But the kids, they've been losing for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and they never knew how to win, and or coaches that had the culture of winning.
Yeah. It's hard,
So
man.
I
It's
had
a hard thing.
yeah.
Remember, you were brought into a winning stuff. Like, it's tough for these guys, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing was I saw it out, and all they needed was a direction. So I from what my stature was, I gave them a direction of, hey, this is how you do things right. Hey, if you do this, this is what's gonna come out. If you do these little things right, you're gonna make a better play. You know what I mean? Don't drop the ball, 10 push-ups, like little stuff, little instead of just to like get their mind thinking in a positive way. Like scout team, like you make us work, scout team, like stuff like that. And the kids, they took up to it and they owned it. And we end up losing one game, and we won the championship. So the first time in like 30 years since they won the championship, in the NJCIC, that's the first time in Weehawken history they won the championship. So I pleased to say, like, greatness just follows me. So so I'm just
Best
so
line ever.
so, so
That's
yeah,
that
we
wrestlingness. That's that
yeah,
wrestling.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you gotta
yeah,
have that.
yeah. So, but I was so proud of the kids, the way they fought all year, and the seniors, we had a big senior class. We had about like 18 seniors on the team, and they accomplished their goal, and they accomplished what they know at the end of their senior year what they wanted to do. So it was sweet. We actually lost to Elmwood Park in the regular season, then we beat them in the championship. So that was sweet. And that was, like I said, that was the first time in like 30 years since they won the championship, because I think we turned. I think the year before they were like 1-9, and we went like what 8-1. So like it was a huge turnaround for the community. Everybody was it was a great success.
Oh, that's incredible, and I remember the last person to win any games over there was, Derek, you might know, Zach Nascimento when he was
Oh
there.
yes.
Yes,
Now
so that was
now
like
he is the
2000.
offensive line coach at DePaul.
Yeah, that was like 2011 maybe when he was there, or 12 or something like that. Because when I was at Pal Park, we used to play them,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, we had did the same thing back when I was at Pal Park, turned it all around, and going to the state championship. But Pal Park is now back in tough times. So
Yeah, they just faced Palpar. I think they beat them up pretty
yeah,
bad.
you guys beat them like 40 something to nothing, I think, or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, and you know what? At those towns like Palisades Park and
Tough for those
Weehawken,
guys, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
you guys can make a huge difference. Coaches make a big difference there
Just a little
because
bit.
yeah,
definitely,
you invest in them, and it makes a gigantic difference. So
most definitely.
that's awesome. Um, so what do you think kind of is the next step for you? Like, do you want to keep coaching high school football? Like, what are some of the things you're thinking about from that standpoint?
Um, yeah, I'm right now. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. No high school football. I'm actually the head coach for we love the wrestling team too. So
Oh,
I'm
cool.
actually built. Yeah, I'm building that program up too, and it's going well. Right now, with my wrestling program, it's kind of hard time, because now enough kids are seduced to the sport. So right now it's about just getting it out there and um, telling them about the sport and getting kids on. But I think I should have a good team this year. A lot of kids coming back. Freshmen. More in tune about the sport, more looking into because MMA is real big. So a lot of
Yeah.
people watch
Yeah, they love
the
that
fights.
stuff, man.
You know,
If you could kind of talk to them and be like, hey, this isn't like, if anything, like just any niche, right, to kind of get those guys out because, like you talk about,
right?
I'm sure there's no feeder program over there, right? So there's
Nah,
no youth program that can bring guys
yeah,
in. But if you
yeah,
just continue to just like get your football players, get some of those other
yep,
guys in the halls,
yep.
man, just you
Yep.
can just
I'm just
grow
I'm just
that
I'm
thing
just trying
as
to
is.
just trying to exactly trying to grow it. The 7th, 8th grade program, trying to
Yeah,
get that going, and and then just trying to build what I have, and I think that's really it. I'm just trying to just put more pen on paper, my experience and stuff like that. College, jobs, head coaching jobs, are in there, but I recently been training MMA recently, so like. I've been in the cage, just fighting and stuff. And
come on,
I've been
man. What are you trying to be like, Kevin? Now, come on, man.
nah. I mean, this summertime, I was feeling with it. I never like crossed over to that spot. So I wanted to try my talents and see what come about. But I really like it. I've been training and it's cool. But right now I'm the coaching and I'm just staying with my training brand. Two great performance and just trying to get much kids and just try to lead my young men. That's it.
That is awesome, dude. That
Awesome,
is
man.
so great. What a great story. You have your training company. Where can people find you on Twitter or Instagram? Where can they
Oh,
find
Instagram. Two great performance. Ray two great. Ray underscore two great. That's my personal. But no, my all you gotta do is search two great performance or two GP training. Um, on Instagram and I'm on Facebook too. Razohn Gross. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Razohn, it has been awesome having you on. What an amazing like you're one of the guys when I remember you coming up and I was coaching in North Jersey for a long time before I moved down here, who was just a fascinating athlete because you excelled at the highest level in two sports. It's
Yeah.
and one sport which was in my opinion, especially in high school at least it's the most difficult sport, and it was to be two-time state champ in New Jersey, um,
So
and to be able to play two sports like you did, football and wrestling at
yeah.
different times in college. I mean, I admire it to no end. It's an amazing athletic career, and to see you now transitioning that and helping young people become a better athlete on the
hmm
football field and wrestling,
hmm
and then continuing to compete yourself, which is just is amazing.
You still got it. You
Hey,
still got a little
listen,
juice, man.
listen. Like I'm very active. I'm a very active person until like I can't do. Like my grandfather like competed and lifted weights all the way until he was like 70. He couldn't do it no more. So like I'm
It's in the
that type
blood.
of guy. It's in the blood. We keep training hard, and I feel like for me personally. I feel like that's a way for me to connect with my kids. I know your coach is doing it. Your coach is training hard. Why can't
Yeah.
you train hard? You get what I'm saying? So that's another outlet that like I try to feed to my players. Like I train every day hard, man. Like you guys, it's so easy to go to the gym or work on something that you're not good at
Yeah.
and become improve at it. So that's a big thing that I harp on as a coach and as an athlete. So my thing is I have to practice what I preach too. So I'm coaching and I'm telling these guys, but I have to do it myself because I don't want to be that type of coach that like just tell them what to do, but I don't really practice what I preach. You know what I mean?
There's no doubt about it. I think
Great outlook.
that's a great outlook. Fantastic talking with you, and really wish you nothing but the best. I really enjoyed the conversation, and hopefully we'll see you on here again soon.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys too. Hold on, one thing. I'm on Twitter too. I forgot. Dang, my Twitter was in, but my Twitter is Razohn Gross at 32. So that's at Razohn Gross at 32. So, yep, that's it.
Very cool.
I don't be going on Twitter. I don't be going on Twitter no more because I don't. You know, I feel like all the outlook is on Instagram, Facebook. You know, that's where I really do everything at. So
right.
Appreciate you, big guy, man. Hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. I really thanks a lot, man. I think
all right. Thank
you
guys. Thank you guys for having me on, man. No problem, Coach. Always love. Thank you, Coach Schumann. Thank you.
I will see you soon, Razohn. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
good luck
man.
Thank you. Season.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Take care, bro.
All right. That was great. That was fantastic.
Still got the juice, bro.
Oh man, the energy.
Dude, he's like a pit bull.
Fantastic.
Dude. He's like a pit bull, and that's how he was. Like, bro, it was hard to ever to be like, hey, like sometimes, like, nah, man, he was all juice all the time, man. It was crazy. I think when we played Bergen at Overpeck his senior year, dude. I think he bear crawled faster, like you know how guys when you run out between the cheerleaders and out of the tunnel, he bear crawled the entire way like a dog, like a freaking feel. Dude, he was gone, and you just like it was out of control, dude. He's just a different type of animal.
That's awesome. It was great. It was
and
great.
listen, everybody looked at him like football guy, like dude, wrestling, unbelievable.
I find it so you know, to be at a really high level at both of those. It is really difficult.
Right, because when you normally talk about
outside
guys
of a heavyweight, right? Because he wasn't. So he wrestled heavyweight in college, but heavyweights, which are a lot of times, you know, like in the Midwest, they might be like defensive tackles,
right,
or offensive linemen, and they don't have to lose weight, right?
No, because they can just.
He did as a football player. And played at a really high level as a football player and a wrestler, because you have to take off a little bit of weight to go to 195. So I thought that was just absolutely fascinating.
And that process in itself, to see him go through that. And listen, you know how that is. It's like it's a quick turnaround. So we lost his senior year. We lost in the semifinals to Bergen. And so that means he was never used to having a season that was over before that first week of December. You know, so he kind of had a different jump on that senior year. And I watched him literally go from probably, like you said, 220, 225 down to that 195 in a matter of like 2-3 weeks. And it was just wild. Like the dedication it took for him to cut that was just insane. And he did it like, you know, oh, okay, we're good to go. Like, because I'm going to win this, you know, I'm going to win this second title in a row.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Like we just I didn't just get one in football. Like, and I'll be honest, had he won a state championship in football, I don't know if he would have played. Like, I think the wrestling might have taken over and been like cool to kind of like he would have had his closure with football. But we always say there's something about this game, dude, that just it
draws you in. There's no doubt about it. It just draws you in. So, well, that was awesome. We'll kick it off till next week, till next time. Hopefully, I'm sure you'll have another great guest for us next week, and we will see you all soon.
Appreciate it.